Hello students, you're welcome to your favorite educational program, Teaching and Learning on Radio by Niger State Ministry of Education. It promises to be interesting and it comes up every weekday. This is to keep the school children abreast of their curriculum due to coronavirus pandemic that has kept them at home. At this moment, we have our facilitator in the studio who will be taking you on a very interesting subject. Happy viewing. I am Kabir Yusuf.
You are again welcome to another presentation of English language. Last week, we have discussed for Junior Secondary School 3, part of speech. Today, we shall be introducing consonant sound, and this will be for Junior Secondary Schools. Before we start, we would like to look at the objectives. What is expected of us to achieve at the end of the lesson? First, we have the definition. We'll be looking at definition, the places of articulations, that is the places we use in producing the sounds, classifications, examples, and word contrast. And at the end of the lesson, we expect the students to be able to identify or produce the sound irrespective of where they appear. To start with the concept of consonant sound, consonant is a speech sound that is produced with an obstruction of airstream. That is, the obstruction could be total or partial, depending on the sound produced. Now, we have different places we use in the articulations of the sound, the different places we use in producing the sound. And one, for the beginners, as I have mentioned earlier, those that are in JS1, though it will be beneficiary to those in 2 and the other classes too. First, the lips, which is also known as barlibia. Then you have the gums inside the mouth, the gums that hold the teeth. It is also referred to as alveolar. Then you have the upper roof, which is also known as palate or hard palate. Then the extreme end there, which is after the upper roof that is soft there, it is called soft palate. And then we have the glottis, which is also known as the air stream mechanism. Now, those are the places we use in articulations. The tongue is not mentioned because it is involved in all productions you made or production of the sound you made. Then we go to the next one, which is the classifications. Now, in English sound, we have 24 consonant sounds, and these are classified into different groups. The first group is known as stop or plosive, and under stop or plosive, you have about 6 sounds. Then the second one is fricatives. You have about 9 sound, and then you have another which is affricates. You have 2 sound under them. You have nasal has 3 sound. You have lateral, which has 2 sound, and you have glides also has 2 sound. Now, but we are going to discuss only the first class, which is stop and plosive. This, and it has 6 sounds under it. The first sound we have under stop or plosive the first sound we have is p sound. Sound. Now the second one is b sound. The third one is t sound. The fourth one is d sound. The fifth one is k sound, and the sixth one, which is the last, is g sound. Now, these 6 sounds under stop or plosive, you discover that the first two here has the same places of articulations. They have the same place you use in producing the first two. Now, how do you differentiate the two? If you say that the first two here have the same places of articulation, then how do you differentiate them? Now, the first one here is produced with complete blockage of the air from the air stream, and then it is blocked by the lips and released at once. The same thing applies to the second. Now, the first one is it is timed as voiceless, and the second one is voiced. How do you identify the first as voiceless and the second voiceless? First, in producing the first sound, which is, I want you to place your hands on your glottis here, and if in trying to produce the sound, you feel, there is friction, you feel friction in between the glottis, then you are not producing the sound as appropriate. But if it is free of friction, then you are producing it correctly. For instance, p, 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 sound as in pot, 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 pat, pat, and so on. Then the second one, which we said is voiced. Now, there should be vibration or friction in between the glottis as you produce or as the air comes from the air stream. And for instance, b, b, in the voice like boy, boy, boy. You feel a kind of vibration in between your glottis or the blocking the air stream, air coming out from the glottis. Then the third one and the fourth one also have something in common. And what is common between the two? They also have the same place of articulation. And here you use the dental, the gums, which is the alveolar, in producing the two. For instance, the first one you have in the West, like the first one, which we say the sound is t, t, t. And the second one, the second part of it, which is d, d, d. In trying to produce it, you discover that the two also have the same place of articulation. But how do you differentiate the two? Just like the first one here, which is t, is voiceless, and the second one is voiced. Following the same process as the first one, you place your hand on the glottis and try producing the sounds. For instance, tap, tap, tap. You make sure that you don't allow vibration in between. Tap. You have another one, pat. You have pot, 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 tap, pat, pot, tap, and pat. You don't allow the friction. You don't allow friction in between the glottis. And then the second one, the second part of it, which is d, d. Then you make sure that there is a kind of friction in between the glottis. And the words with these sounds include dog, 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 dog. You feel some kind of frictions in between. Then you have another one, da, 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 double, double, and so on. Then the last one here, which is a k, k sound, and a g, g, also have the same place of articulation, or the same places of articulations. And the difference between the two is that the first one, which is k, is voiceless, and the second one is voiced. An example here, you have kick, 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 K-I-C-K, kick, kick. You have another one, sick, 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 S-I-C-K. And you also have sky, 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 S-K-Y. Now, this, you try to produce or pronounce these words without allowing vibrations in between your glottis. And then the last one, which is g, g, g sound. You have them in the words like, you have this sound in words like goat, 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 goat. You have again in words like green, green. That is the first one, which is goat, is G-O-A-T, goat, goat. The second one, green, 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 G-R-E-E-N. And another example is gate, gate, gate. That is G-E-T. And you find the sound in the first letter. The sound is there. Now, we're going to give an example of sentences where we have these sounds before we come to the word contrast. In the first one here, we have in the words like sentence like the pretty pet performs plenty of pleasantry. The pretty pet performs plenty of pleasant tricks. Tricks. Now, you discover that in most of the words in this sentence have the sound p, p. And as you read the sentence, you try to produce the sound as appropriate. Now, you can repeat after me. The first example, the pretty pet performs plenty of pleasant tricks. Now, you discover that almost 5 or 6 of the words in the sentence have the sound. And that is how you practice that. You can put that down. The pretty pet performs plenty of pleasant tricks. The second one, which is the second sound, b, b, you also have the sentence, you have the sound in the sentence, the following sentence. The blackbird brought back a beautiful big worm for his babies. Now, let us go through the second sentence with b, b sound. The blackbird brought back a beautiful big worm for his babies. Babies. Now, you discover that we have a lot of words with the second sound, which is b, b. You can also use this, put this down, and practice on your own. The blackbird brought back a beautiful big worm for his babies. Then the third one, let us go through quickly. The third one, Too many teenagers tend to waste their time watching television. Too many teenagers tend to waste their time watching television. So the sound is also there in the sentence. That is t sound. Too, and then many teenagers, another sound, tend to waste their time watching the television. Then the another sound with, another example with the sound d, d here is, he drew his dagger and dashed to defend his darling daughter. He drew his dagger and dashed to defend his darling daughter. And the next one, which is k sound, you also have, I can't quite comprehend why the quality of these books has declined. I can't quite comprehend why the quality of these books has declined. Now the sound is also there in the words like can't, quite, comprehend, quality, and books. You also have in the last word there decline. Now you have the words there, and the last one, which is g, g, g sound. We also have a sentence with the sounds like, the guard at the governor's palace gave me an angry look, but I got by. The guard at the governor's palace gave me an angry look, but I got by. Now the word contrast, quickly. Now the first one, the first two sounds we have, p and the b, we have words in contrast, and we want to practice that too, and you listen and pronounce or repeat after me. The first one is pig, 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 with the sound p, p. And the opposite, which is with b sound, big, 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 pat, pat, bad, bad, peach, peach, beach, beach, pin, pin, and bean, bean, nap, nap, nab, nab. That is for this first two sound. In the second two sound, you have tin, tin, you have din, you have tip, you have deep, you have mat, you have mad, you have tent, you have ten, dent, you have letter, and you have ladder. It has the sound. And then the last one here, you have cold, and you have gold, gold. You have cat, cat, and you have goat, goat. You have kill, you have gill, gill. You have cap, and you have gap, gap. You have back, back, and you have bag, bag. Now with this, we also have a few, but because of the time allocated, we want to quickly summarize what we have discussed so far. We have discussed the definition of consonant sound, which we said is a sound that is produced with an obstruction from the air stream, that is complete blockage of the air, and then you release at once. And we have discussed the classifications. We say we have plosive or stop, we have affricate, we have nasal, we have affricates, we have liquid, and we have glass. And we are also giving examples and the word contrast. And I believe with this, we have come to the end of today's lesson. And in case there are areas you wish we touched, which we have not done, I would like you to contact us on the WhatsApp number 090 2982 282040. Again, 090 2982 282040. Thank you.
Maybe you had a wonderful time listening to your favorite educational program, Teaching and Learning on Radio by Niger State Ministry of Education. The essence of the program is to educate our children that have been at home due to coronavirus pandemic ravaging the entire world. This program will come your way next time. We do hope you will join us. Kabir Yusuf is my name, and I'm thanking you for watching.